What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Back again with another video. Quick Champions League roundup as well as a Premier League preview. Let's jump straight into it, guys. PSG versus Liverpool. PSG, of course, beating Liverpool 2-0 at the end. For me, a really convincing win for PSG. I don't think that Liverpool have enough to beat PSG, even though Liverpool is playing at home in the second leg. Poor performance from Liverpool. It could have been even worse for them. I think PSG could have even won this game 4 or 5-0. PSG definitely looking like odd favorites. Can they make another Champions League final? I personally think so, that they can. Um, I definitely think that they will make it through to the semi-final. I don't think Liverpool has have enough to beat PSG, but you never know. Can Liverpool turn it around in the second leg? Who knows? We'll definitely have to wait and see. Then, of course, Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid. Atletico beating Barcelona 2-0. Really a shock defeat for me, in my opinion, for Barcelona. We've seen that Barcelona beat Atletico in the cup game a week ago, but really a shock defeat for me for Barcelona. And we all know how Simeone plays. The second leg will be at Atletico's home grounds. To me, I think that Atletico is just going to sit back and they will take their chances definitely, but I think they're just going to sit back and stick it out. So Barcelona is really going to have to take the game to Atletico Madrid if they really want to get a result. But anything is possible in the Champions League. Things can turn around very, very, very quickly. Then again, Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. For me, in my opinion, it was really an open game. Star performance by Olise. He's also really a fantastic player, also in fine form, especially this season. And it's really going to be interesting to see how he performs in the World Cup for France. I think he definitely will be selected. If not, maybe he's even selected already. But nevertheless, we all know that Real Madrid are the kings of this competition. Anything can happen, even though the second leg is away at Bayern Munich Stadium. I think that it's still going to be an open game. Bayern Munich doesn't play defensive football; they play attacking football, and I don't know. I won't put it past Real Madrid to make it through to the next round, even though Bayern Munich is leading by one goal. So um, I don't know, guys. A Real Madrid for me, in my opinion, I don't know. They can do anything. I don't know. It's just something about this competition for Real Madrid. They can really get it over the line. And I think that even for Real Madrid supporters, I think that they're not really too stressed about it. They really believe in their team, and they can really do it. They can really beat Bayern Munich. Could be a shock defeat for Bayern Munich, but again, let's see what happens in the second leg. Then Sporting Lisbon versus Arsenal. Arsenal winning last minute. Wasn't really a convincing performance for me by Arsenal. Um, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Arsenal will manage the game in the second leg. I think Sporting Lisbon will definitely go out all guns blazing to get a result from this game. But in the end, I think that Arsenal will have a little bit too much for Sporting Lisbon. So, in my opinion, I think PSG will go through. Atletico can go through. It would be nice to see Bayern Munich go through over Real Madrid because it just seems like luck is always on Real Madrid's side. Do you guys agree? Especially in the Champions League, I just feel like luck is always on Real Madrid's side when it comes to the Champions League, unless they're really, really poor. So I think that Bayern Munich can go through. Then I think that Arsenal will just have a little bit too much for um, Sporting Lisbon in the end. But stick around for next week's video to see what happens in the Champions League in the second leg. I think the results from here, PSG might face Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. And then, of course, Atletico might face Arsenal. We've all seen what the draw looks like. But nevertheless, that's the quick Champions League roundup. Moving on to the Premier League. Um, some of the news: Robertson to leave Liverpool at the end of the season, as well as Mo Salah will leave at the end of the season. Will Virgil van Dijk also leave at the end of the season? I guess we will wait and see what happens there. Arne Slot definitely not having a good season or a great season. I think that last season for Arne Slot in the Premier League was like a free run, like a free hit for him. And in my opinion, I don't think that he really went out to go and win the Premier League. I think he was just there, for stability since Jurgen Klopp left that season, and things just fell in their favor, and they ended up winning the Premier League. But if you remember in my previous videos, I always said that Liverpool have to win the Premier League this season to convince me personally, because we've all seen for the past few years Manchester City has been the standard, and it just seems like every time Manchester City has a bad season, that's when Liverpool took advantage and won the Premier League. Because in my opinion, we've seen what happened pound for pound: Manchester City's best team versus Liverpool's best team. Manchester City always came out on top, even though it was by 1 point. So yeah, big questions is still gonna be asked by um o- by Arne Slot. Will Liverpool have enough patience with him to give him another season? I think so. I don't think that he will be sacked. I think that he'll be given another year or two to bring this team back together. Of course, he's going through a rebuild. So yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see what happens. Moving on to the fixtures, guys. Let's look at have a look at the fixtures. Of course, Manchester City play Chelsea away game. Must win game for Manchester City. I think that they really have to win that game to put that pressure on Arsenal. Arsenal looking a little bit shaky, even though they won against Sporting Lisbon last night. 1-0 win again. Wasn't a convincing win in my opinion, but the Premier League is something different. They've lost back-to-back games in the cup games. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Arsenal copes and how Arsenal manage. Um, so there is actually, in fact, a kickoff tomorrow: West Ham versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. West Ham still fighting relegation, and Wolves as well. So that's a relegation battle. Um, I think either of the teams need to get maximum points. A draw is not going to help either one of them. So I think that's really going to be like a dogfight game. It's gonna it's gonna be interesting. I definitely will be watching that game for sure. Then an early kickoff for Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Could Arsenal slip up in the Premier League? I really hope so, guys. Um, you can't put anything past Bournemouth. You've seen that they can be a trouble team for any team. I really hope. But my predictions are: I still think that Arsenal will win that game. I think that Arsenal will still have enough for Bournemouth in that game. Then again, Brentford versus Everton, Burnley versus Brighton of Albion. Burnley still fighting a relegation battle. I think that they'll go down. It just seems like they're a yo-yo team, going up, going down. And in my opinion, at this stage, I think that Burnley is not a Premier League team, but a championship team. I don't think they have enough for the Premier League, because I think this is the second time in a row that they'll be going down. So over the past 4 years, they've just gone up, down, up, down. So yeah, they really, I think they've already accepted the fact that they're going to go down. So their next season actually starts now, preparing for next season. Um, but yeah, in my opinion, I think that they're going to go down. Then, of course, Liverpool versus Fulham at home. Liverpool still wounded by that loss against PSG in the Champions League. I think that they lost also their previous game just before international break. Also a shock defeat. I thought that Liverpool would win that game, but you never know in the Premier League. Any team can beat any team. We've all seen that. I don't know. I think this might be a draw game 2-2 um, for Liverpool and Fulham. Then, of course, Sunday's fixtures: Crystal Palace versus Newcastle. I think it's a straightforward win for Newcastle, even though Crystal Palace are playing at home. Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa. Could be a tight game. Aston Villa a little bit unpredictable. Sometimes games that you would expect Aston Villa to win, they end up losing or dropping points, drawing in that fact. So yeah, I think that this game could go anyway. I think Nottingham Forest can win the game. I think that Aston Villa can also win. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see that. Then Sunderland versus Tottenham Hotspur. Remember, Tottenham Hotspur signed a new coach, De Zerbi. Will he have enough to keep Tottenham up? Tottenham is really fighting a relegation battle. And you know what? Tottenham, I don't know, Tottenham, this is one team that we always struggle with. And I don't understand Tottenham, guys. Tottenham will will beat Manchester City, or they took how many points? I think 5 points us off us over two legs, but then they gave Arsenal 6 points. But they don't want Arsenal to win the league. So I don't know. That just makes me feel like Tottenham should just then get relegated because they're not helping themselves either. Because we all know the North London derby. Tottenham wouldn't want to see Arsenal win the Premier League. But they're not doing their part. They're not even beating them or taking points off them. They want to play good against Man City and take points off us. In fact, took 5 points off us, but then they hand over 6 points to Arsenal. I don't know this team. But yeah, the Zavi is on a big contract, guys, and I definitely think there's some clause in that contract that would stipulate if they go down, um, that he can probably leave the club. Um, but I don't know, man. I don't think Tottenham will really get relegated. I think that the other teams around or below Tottenham are just not good enough, and that could save Tottenham's season. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that could be the case that teams around Tottenham or below Tottenham are just not good enough, and that could be um, Tottenham's saving grace? I think that how many games do we have left? About what, 7 games left for the season? Out of the 7 games, if Tottenham can just win 4 of those games, I think that they will stay up. But you never know with Tottenham, guys. You've all seen expressions, videos when Tottenham loses, the way he rants. I think, in fact, the last time we done a reaction to Saeed earlier in the year, I think we can do a reaction video um, for expressions. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what do you think about that. Just trying to think of new ideas what we can do on this channel. Then of course, Sunday late kickoff or the last game, Chelsea versus Manchester City. Again, in my opinion, must win game for Manchester City. If they drop points in this game and Arsenal win their game over the weekend, it's going to be difficult for Manchester City. So Manchester City definitely have to get full points, maximum points. A draw is not going to help Manchester City. If Arsenal can slip up even in a draw and Manchester City win, could put pressure on Arsenal. What do you guys think? Do you think that Arsenal will bottle the league? Because clearly it's in their hands. I think they're leading by 9 points, even though Manchester City has a game in hand. But remember, Manchester City still has to play for that 3 points, and anything can happen in that game. I'm not even sure who that game in hand is. I think it's even Everton. Um, but must win game for Manchester City. Chelsea is a little bit hot and cold. They can beat Manchester City. Honestly, they can really beat Manchester City and just upset things for Manchester City. But I think that we'll have a little bit too much for Manchester City. I think that, I mean, for Chelsea, I think that we will definitely win that game. But again, anything happens in the Premier League. Then again, a Monday night kickoff, Man United versus Leeds. I think Man United is going to win this game. Michael Carrick really done a great job over the past few weeks. I don't think he has a loss to his belt. If I'm not mistaken, I think he just has a couple of draws in there and mostly wins. Could this be the same scenario like with Shosha when Shosha was appointed? He had a nice purple patch, won a couple of games, they gave him the contract, and then after that things just started, you know, going a little bit downhill for Manchester United? Or was it too soon to pull the plug on Shosha? Because in that season, I think he even finished second, um, second to Manchester City. But I think that Michael Carrick can really move this team forward. I do definitely think that he's got a decent team, giving him a chance, especially with the season coming to an end, giving him a transfer window. Let's see what type of players will he bring in, or um, will Ineos even back him? Um, I definitely think they should. They should definitely back him. Give him a chance. Give him at least one or two transfer windows. In fact, guys, here's a hot take for you guys, right? I don't know. This might just upset some people, but in my opinion, I think if Arsenal doesn't win the league this season, right, I think that Man United could even win the league before Arsenal. There's a hot take for you guys. What do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section what do you guys think. And then it's really going to be interesting to see what happens the rest of the season. Um, and like I said, some interesting games. Any team can beat any team, and it's really going to be interesting to see what happens over this weekend. But then again, thank you so much for watching the videos. Thank you so much for staying tuned. I'm really trying my best, guys, to deliver content every week now. Um and hold me to it, guys. If you really want to see more of this content, if you want to see something different, let me know in the comment section as well. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and I will definitely see you guys in the next one. Peace out.